And we're on. What's up, metalheads? Welcome back to another episode of Full Metal 5, the first of a double header today. Why? Because we have a great topic to talk about this week. In honor of 50 Shades Freed coming out this weekend. Yeah, that's why I'm doing this. I decided, you know what? Rather than doing top 5 sexy movies, we're saving that for another time. We are doing the top 5 best and worst third installments of a film franchise. And of course, as we operate by, bad news first logic here at Full Metal Media, we are doing the top 5 worst right now. Joining me on the panel today, first of all, we got my good admin buddy, RJ Villarreal Jr., the Red Ranger and Power Rangers champion. RJ, what's up?
I love that we include the Power Rangers champion this time, just saying. But can we put 50 Shades Freed already on this list? Like, do we have to wait for it to come out, or can we just automatically assume?
I mean, we could. We could. I mean, last I checked, it's got like a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, so we could. I wouldn't stop you. But.
Yeah, no, but I mean, this is going to be kind of fun. I mean, sometimes it is just fun just to shit talk garbage, so.
Absolutely. I mean, just watch our first episode, the DC episode. That's also so joining us. He's returning guest on Full Metal 5. He is Malcolm Lay. Malcolm, what's up, man?
Pretty good. Just looking at my list. I've got lots of interesting ones there. Some I'm pretty sure will make it on. Some I don't think will. So it'll be fun.
Well, hey, that's the fun of the show. You don't know what's going to happen. Also joining us, he's a new guest on this show and newer to this channel. He is the king. He is Caleb Coho. Caleb, what's up?
Not much. I'm really excited to just talk a lot of crap about a lot of bad movies.
Hey, is there anything better in this world than talking about bad movies? And finally, he is the only person on this panel who adamantly said he wanted to do this. It is the butcher, Luca Fallon. Luca, what's up, man?
You see that? That is my choice for best Muppet. I would like that corrected, and I would like the record amended to show that Miss Piggy is in fact the best Muppet. I'm doing good.
You know, maybe.
I'm doing good. I'm very, very excited to. Specifically, I wanted to be in here to talk about one movie, and boy, am I excited to do so.
Yeah, I'll let you get to that later. But first of all, let's start the show. So the way this works is we do a top 5 list right here live in front of you people. What we do, we have 3 different selecting processes. First one is the nomination process. What we're each going to do, we're going to go around and nominate movies until we have a top 7. So in order for a movie to make top 7, it has to get 3/5 majority votes. And we will start right now. I will kick off the nominations. My first nomination is going to go to the sci-fi action sequel known as The Matrix Revolutions. Now, let me start off by saying I hated the ending of Reloaded so much. I put off even watching this for a really long time because of like, as soon as to be continued up on Matrix Reloaded, I was like, there's no way I'm gonna see the third one. And then I don't know why, but I remember just, you know what, I gotta just check it out. And not only was this movie bad, it was worse than anything I could have imagined. The worst, like all the goodwill built up by the first squandered in one go. I don't know how they did it. I mean, they introduced like so much like weird crap in this movie, and things go nowhere. Plotline make little to no sense. It's just all around bad. One of the worst sequels I've ever seen, and it should absolutely be in the top 7 worst. So I'll go to RJ first. RJ, does Matrix Revolutions make top 7?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, honestly, I wish we could put both the sequels in on this list because they're actually both pretty bad compared to the first one. But yeah, I mean, very similar to another movie I'm going to bring up on this list. Matrix Reloaded was not good, and Matrix Revolution was their chance to save the franchise, and they failed. They failed miserably. They ended it on probably one of the worst sour notes I've ever had growing up as a kid. Like when Matrix came out, the obsession over that movie was real, and then those sequels came out and ruined it. I mean, the one thing I appreciated were the gigantic robots in the fight. I'm not going to lie, I still love that part. I don't know why everyone else hates it, that there was a giant army of robots against the machines. That was the only cool part to me. Everything else sucked. But yes, this movie needs to be on top 7.
All right, and let's go to Caleb next. Caleb, does Matrix Revolutions make the top 7?
You see, I'm known for being controversial. I'm not going to say I like this movie. I don't.
Yeah, okay.
But a top 7, I'll give it a top 7 vote, but a top 5, I don't know about that.
Well, are you saying yes to top 7?
I'll say yes to top 7.
Okay, that's it. So Matrix Revolution makes first movie to make it on. Malcolm, Luca, your votes up. What do you guys think? Malcolm, what do you think of Matrix Revolutions? Would it have made top 7 for you?
For me, I would have said no because I think there's a lot of stuff worse than it. So.
All right. And Luca, what would you have said?
Is that the one where he's fighting like all of the Agent Smiths together in a huge battle, or is that the second one?
The second one is when he has the fight with all the Smiths. The third one, he just fights the one Smith while all the other Smiths watch.
Oh, fuck that one. No, it's yes.
All right. Well, Luca, you've been building it up, and I'm curious to see what it is, even though I already know it. But you go ahead. You rant about the movie you wanted to rant about so badly.
So, okay, right. I'm in a weird position here where this movie has come out so recently that I cannot spoil it, and I cannot trust that everyone else on the panel has seen it. But there's a franchise that I think is like criminally underrated as far as like modern franchises go. It has come out with the best movie of 2008 and just one of the best movies of 2016, probably in the top 5. And for the past sort of half a year, we've been hearing rumblings about this sequel, and maybe it's going to come out soon, and maybe it's not. And then it seemed to be like cancelled, and then it was coming out, and then I don't care about sports, right? I don't care about sports, but I cared for a very, very, very brief period of time about the Super Bowl. During the Super Bowl, there was a trailer released for a certain movie that was going to be released literally after the Super Bowl game had finished. And I was then checking the scores for the Super Bowl to see if it had finished, to see if I could go and see this movie. If I could like go to Netflix and watch this movie. And I did. And the Cloverfield Paradox is just a horrendous movie. It takes a really promising first entry and a really incredibly interesting spin-off sequel and just fucks it up so badly. It has a combination of explaining too much and not explaining enough, of being too sci-fi and not like horror enough. It goes way too fantastical. It's like the worst thing about 10 Cloverfield Lane was the ending where it just goes like way out of like the claustrophobic like contained atmosphere. And the Cloverfield Paradox was like an entire movie of that. It's fucking horrendous. And like, while I can't say any specifics, none of the characters are interesting. None of the plot revelations are interesting. It doesn't explain what it sets out to explain. It doesn't set up what it sets out to set up. It is a fucking waste of time, waste of space, and it should never have been made, ever. We are worse as a film community for having it. It is a disgrace, and everyone involved should be ashamed. Oh.
Tell us how you really feel.
Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, right? Okay. All right. Wow. You feel better, Luca? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to get on the list, but like, I have done what I needed to do.
All right. Well, the Cloverfield Paradox is on the table. Malcolm, does it make top 7?
Well, Luca, we've never really been on the same page before. This is the first time. Yes, it needs to make the list.
Okay, then. Wow.
Oh, thank you so much.
Go to RJ. RJ, have you seen the Cloverfield Paradox, and does it make top 7?
I haven't seen any of the Cloverfield movies. So now, don't get me wrong. I've heard this movie's terrible. I haven't heard a good word about it, but I'm going with what Malcolm was in the last round and saying there are way worse movies out there that need to be in top 7. There's just way worse movies out there.
All right. I'll go to me next. This is hard because, like you, I did watch Cloverfield Paradox right after the Super Bowl, and I do care about sports. It's bad. Okay, I didn't need the answer to this question, but you answered it anyway. Why? What does it matter?
It's just literally you simultaneously explain not enough and explain all of the mystery and
Yeah, I'm still convinced. I'm still convinced that was not supposed to be a Cloverfield movie. They still jam-packed that in.
It wasn't. The 10 Cloverfield Lane also initially wasn't a Cloverfield movie, and they fucking pulled it off.
Yeah, I think that's where movies go wrong. And yeah, I kind of tend to agree with RJ. I think there are worse third installments out there, so I got it. Unless I don't like Cloverfield Paradox, I got to shut this down. Let's go to Caleb next. Caleb, your deciding vote. Does it make the list?
Okay. I have not seen Cloverfield 1. I saw 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I loved it. And I watched the Super Bowl because I was cheering on against the Eagles because of what they did to the Vikings. And I saw this trailer come out, and I had no interest in seeing this movie, but I heard all the things from all my friends saying, you need to see this because of just how terrible it is. So I wasted 2 hours of my life on this piece of trash movie. And I'm not going to vote it on. Because simply, I have a list over here of 5 movies that I think are worse than the Cloverfield Paradox. And, it's hard.
There are 6 on the list, Caleb.
I think it's too new. I think it's just too new. You know what? Actually, wait. I take it back. I'll vote it up. Lucas' argument swayed me, and the more I keep thinking about it, yeah, sure. All right. You know what?
It's on the list?
It's on the list. There's 6 spots. Go for it. Knock yourself out, kiddo.
Vindication. Vindication.
Right. Cloverfield Paradox surprisingly makes the list.
Oh, this is the ghost of Christmas present of bad prequels.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Luca. You did the one thing you wanted to do on this show.
Right,
all right,
I can go now.
So let's go to. Yeah, you can leave now. You're good, man. Bye. Nah, stick around, man. I like having you around. You're fun. All right, I'm gonna go to RJ next. RJ, what do you want to throw up for top 7?
Let me calm myself before I start talking about this movie.
Oh boy. RJ Rent.
Okay. There are very, 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 very rare instances that one movie can ruin an entire franchise. And I think no movie did it better than Spider-Man 3. I mean, oh my God. What? Chance here knows how I feel about Warner Brothers DC right now, how they run their shit.
Yes.
And the reason I bring that up is because this should have been the perfect example of what happens when studio heads think, no, we know better. We need to shove this character in because it's popular. And Frick with the director's idea when he proved that let me do my thing and I will make you fantastic movies. But no, let's throw Venom in there. You know what? Cool. I'll admit it. I wanted to see Venom in there. And then you made it Eric Foreman. What? Whose bright idea was that? What? And then who the hell decided the best way to show Peter Parker as the symbiote character was giving him the worst emo hairstyle that he thinks he could just dance in the middle of the street and wink and point at every woman that passes him by. No, this movie. And then he's Green Goblin, he's Hobgoblin, he gets amnesia. What? I mean, just this movie is terrible in so many ways. I mean, this movie ruined Spider-Man. Raimi was ready to go to 4, and 3 killed it. Sony killed it. Not Raimi, not even Topher Grace himself. Because he is an actor, he did what he could with what was given to him. I don't blame him for that. I blame the studio. Spider-Man 3 is the worst third movie ever. I'm done.
Okay. Wow, we got 2 rants back to back. This is an awesome show. All right, Caleb, you were the deciding vote. I will give you Spider-Man 3 make top 7.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Spider-Man 3 is a dumpster fire. The first act of the movie, I remember watching the first 10 minutes when he first fights him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, great. This is what we were promised at the end of Spider-Man 2, something like this. And I was like, sweet, I didn't think they were going to do it this early in the movie. Well, not only did they blow that fight in the beginning in the first 10 minutes, they knocked him out and changed him into good Harry with amnesia. And then Venom, a character that I adore, is squandered so poorly. It should have just been Sandman. You should have just done Sandman and Harry. Because Sandman was interesting, and Harry would have been a great full movie, but you shoved a great Spider-Man 3 into the first 10 minutes and then expanded into retroactively destroying the other 2 movies you just did before. And yeah, no, screw this movie. Yeah, it's on.
All right. Malcolm, Spider-Man 3, does it make the list?
Me?
Yes, you, Malcolm.
Who have you gone to?
Yes. Malcolm.
Malcolm. Okay.
Yeah, this is where I give a controversial opinion here. The dance sequence was bad, but I don't think it's the worst third movie, so I don't think it should make the list.
All right. Let's go to Luca. Luca?
Spider-Man 3 is a really bad movie, but there are 3 superhero threequels that I think are worse, and I do not want a list that is dominated by superhero threequels, so it does not make the list.
All right, so it comes to me. I don't know if this is going to dominate. I don't know if it's going to dominate by superhero threequels, but nevertheless, I'm giving it a yes. Like, I remember very vividly, because what happened, I saw Spider-Man 3 opening day. Like, the theater was packed. It was like you guys were like real sweaties all around, and we sat to watch this piece of shit. Seriously, I have never forgiven Sony for Spider-Man 3. Like, everything they do is trying to make up for this. Yeah, the dance sequence made me cry in the theater, like actively cry in the theater. I didn't know what was happening. With my parents, they don't know what's happening. No one knows what's going on in this movie. It's just like the worst example of studio interference in filmmaking. So yeah, I'm giving Spider-Man 3 a yes. All right, so that is it. We have 3 movies in our top 3.
3 for 3
to, I don't think Caleb's done anything yet. So let's go to Caleb next.
Okay.
No, wait, I'm sorry. Yes, he has.
Okay.
Have you?
Have I nominated anything? I haven't nominated anything yet.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
so you go next.
Okay, so I don't exactly know what we're going to classify as a threequel in terms of cinematic universes, so I'll save that for later and go with something that is a straightforward sequel that I was really excited for. It had a great second installment right before it, and I just rewatched the first and second one back-to-back again recently, and they are really good. And then we get to this crappy third movie that was made clearly to set up the next one. which we got, and it was lackluster anyway. I'm nominating The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. And that's because that book, when it came out, was the end of a great series, and the first 2 movies were great adaptations of the book. And what this movie did is it took all of the boring filler exposition that everyone hates from the book, stretched it into a crappy, boring 2-hour-long movie with maybe one action scene that was decent. And the rest of the movie was just horrendous. So that's my nomination. I don't care if it doesn't get nominated, but I just really want to talk crap about that movie.
All right, Hunger Games Mockingjay or debates. I'm going to second vote last time. First of all, I gotta disagree with you on one point. The first 2 Hunger Games movies, like, they're already bad. Like the first one, they're just boring slugs. There's no actual Hunger Games in the movies. Like nothing happened. Like literally, you can go like watch another movie and go to like Catching Fire and still see the actual Hunger Games. Like nothing happened in the movie. Jennifer Lawrence is bored out of her goddamn mind throughout the entire series. But this one, I think this one hurts me to my core because it's the same problem that the first Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter Deathly Hallows. It's the same problem that movie had, in that nothing is happening. So, I think this one's bad enough for me just to give it a. I'll give it a slight yes. I'm probably gonna be the only one. Let's go to Luca next. Luca.
That movie is boring and stupid, but the whole series is boring and stupid, and nothing of value was gained or lost. So I don't think it's consequential enough to make the list, I guess. That film can go away. I never want to see it again, but I don't want to see it on the list either. So no, it's not on the list.
Okay. Catching Fire is a great film.
All right. It is not. That is a lie. And let's go to RJ next. RJ.
It is. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's going to be a hard no too. I just in my opinion, every franchise that did a part 1, part 2 for their last installment, they all suck. So I just simply because this one just happens to be the 3rd one, where Harry Potter's is the 7th, and Twilight, well, that whole thing sucked, but their part 1 was their 4th. Like, it just all the part 1 sucked. It had nothing to do with it being the 3rd installment. So as for worst 3rd installments, no, it shouldn't even be considered.
Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm doing a Full Metal 5 first. My vote. I'm saying no. I'm reducing my yes to a no. Mockingjay Part 1 does not make the list.
Okay.
Didn't even get to Malcolm.
You know what? That's fine. I get it. I totally get why you don't vote it off on, but like, don't crap on the first 2. The first 2 are actually really good, but okay.
I did it.
That film is like part of a trend of like X Part 1 sequels being bad, and the only Part 1 of 2 sequel that is like actively really dreadful is Breaking Dawn Part 1, but that's just because that film is terrible, even by that franchise.
No, that whole series is actually just dreadful.
That whole series is terrible.
Breaking Dawn Part 1 is by far the worst film in that series.
Yes.
All right. Well, Malcolm, what would you? Well, you didn't get a vote. What would you have said?
I would have said no as well.
I just want to talk about that.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's a bad movie, but yeah, I think there are more offensive threequels that you can.
I agree.
Malcolm, your vote, man. You're the last nomination this period. What do you want to throw up?
Well, we've talked about it already, but Twilight Eclipse, that has to be on the list because it's just terrible. The whole franchise is terrible, and nothing more to say about it.
All right, fair enough. Let's go to Caleb first. Caleb, Twilight Eclipse doesn't make top 7.
I'm going to shoot that down right now just because, as Luca and I just said, it's not even the worst of the series. It's a bad movie, but it's not even the worst of the series. Breaking Dawn Part 1 is the worst by far, and that's the 4th, so I'm going to shoot that one down.
All right, fair enough. I'm going to go to me next. I'm also going to give it a no just because, like, yeah, I know it's a bad movie, but really, they're kind of all bad movies, and that's not even that's not even like the least. That's not the least awful of the three of the. No, there's 5 of them. Holy shit! Yes, I'm gonna give that a no. Let's go to Luca. Luca does Breaking Dawn Part 2. No, sorry, Eclipse. Does
Yeah.
Eclipse make top 7?
So there's a really, really terrible movie that is I really doubt is going to make the list, which is Transformers: Dark of the Moon, because it is surrounded by significantly worse movies. Eclipse is maybe the best of that series. Like, it's really possible. But just because
It's probably
like,
the
surrounded
least
on all
offensive
sides,
of the 5.
just because it's
I'll
surrounded
agree
on
with
all
that.
sides by like terrible movies. So no, I'm also going to give it a no, just because there's so much worse in that franchise.
All right. And
It's
it's
no
no. All
for
right.
me.
All right. So that doesn't make the list. RJ, what would you have said?
I kind of agree with everybody else. Like, it's not that only it's not the worst. It's also because from what we've already seen already, I'm going more for movies that ruined a franchise, and Twilight was already ruined. It didn't need Eclipse to ruin it. Like, it was already just bad.
Yeah. All right. So now we come full circle. We are back to me, and next movie I'm gonna throw up is it's controversial because it did have some critical success, very little, but some. It comes from a series where the first 2 films are as close to perfect as you can get, and then this one came along and
saying
just
it?
ruined the legacy.
This is what
It ruined the legacy of the other 2, and that's Godfather Part 3.
Oh, okay, right.
The Godfather Part 3, like the first 2 Godfathers are amazing. And like what Godfather 3 is like, it's like you have this like 5-star chef come along and make you this like awesome like 5-star gourmet meal, and then he's like put a bottle of ketchup all over it. And yeah, no, Godfather 3, like it nearly killed Sofia Coppola's career before it even got started. Like, I've seen better acting in middle school plays than Sofia Coppola in that movie. Like, the only redeeming thing about the movie is Andy Garcia, and some of Pacino's lines are all right. But yeah, Godfather 3 is just it's bad. It's especially when compared to the first 2 Godfathers. Let's go to. I see Caleb reacting a lot. So Caleb, does Godfather 3 make top 7?
Hell no. Okay, here's the thing with Godfather Part 3. Everyone gives it this bad rap because the first 2 are amazing. The first one is a great film. The second film got super lucky in being also really good. Now, here's the issue. 20 years go by, and those movies marinate to the point where they're untouchable and on such a high pedestal that you can't touch them or say that they're not good. 20 years later, they decide, okay, we're going to finally put out a 3rd installment. Now, here's my problem. If you objectively watch The Godfather Part 3, as I did, I watched all 3 back-to-back, first time, and I think Godfather Part 3 is the worst of the franchise, but it's still not a bad movie by any stretch. It's a pretty okay, like, good movie. There are way worse movies than The Godfather Part 3. Way worse. So that's a big thumbs down from me because it is part of a prestige franchise, and yes, it's the worst of a prestige franchise, but it's a Coppola movie. When you look at Coppola movies, even his worst is better than like half of the worst 3rd installments that we're gonna even talk about today. So
really, you want to talk about Jack?
Oh, I was wondering
Jack.
if you were going to say Jack. Oh boy.
Yeah,
Jack.
We'll have discussions later about Jack, Caleb.
It's in a series.
Yeah, all right. We got you next. Does Godfather 3 make top 7?
So it's really difficult. It's really difficult because like I fucking hate that movie. And I wouldn't go as far as Caleb is saying and say that but I wouldn't go that far, but like that film is like functional and like kind of well directed, and it's ridiculous and it's complete nonsense. But like I think ultimately it's too competent a film, and if The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2 are like 1 and 2 on best movies of all time lists. I ultimately think that it hasn't done enough damage to make the list. So it is on this list here that I've written down. But I think I also have to give it the Ixnay and say no.
All right, well then, I'm surprised you all people said no. Go to Malcolm next. Malcolm.
I actually haven't seen
Godfather
any Godfathers, so I really can't give an opinion.
All right, Luke, you said no, right?
Yeah, Lucas said no.
Luca said no. Okay, well then that seals it. RJ, what would you have said about Godfather 3?
I don't know. That's a tough one. Just because, like, yeah, there are worse movies out there, but like I said, I mean, I'm looking at movies that you could say ruined a franchise, and unfortunately, to the majority, Godfather 3 ruined the franchise. So I probably would have put it on anyways.
All right. So now we go back to Luca. Luca, your nomination next. What do you want to throw up for top 7?
Well, if Godfather 3 didn't make the list, then this definitely isn't going to make the list. Okay, I'm going to make the case for the movie that I think just gave the biggest kickballs to a franchise. And I'm kind of preparing myself for this. Back to the Future Part 3.
Really?
Admit it to yourself. It is a terrible movie. Like, you can have fun with it. You can be nostalgic towards it. But that film is stupid. It is bad. Marty J. Fox is fucking... Marty J. Fox, Michael J. Fox is sleeping through it. Christopher Lloyd has clearly given up. The Wild West thing is ridiculous. Clara is the worst character in the franchise. The train time machine is horrendous and awful and bad. And the ending is just, like, completely wishy-washy and wet and pointless, and it leaves the franchise on such a sour note that I just think it's a colossal pile of wasted potential. And I do not like it, and it leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I know it's not going to make the list, and, you know, but I think it's really bad. So yeah, I'm going to say Back to the Future.
That's fair. I'm gonna go first this time. I'm not gonna disagree with you because it's not. I mean, it's not a great movie, not by any stretch of the imagination, especially when compared to the first Back to the Future. I do think two gets really muddled. That's where it gets really complicated. But I mean, as far as third movies go, I think there are worse. And I think that was kind of more like a return to form for the franchise because the first one was the first two about Marty.
It was great.
This one was about Doc. This was about Doc, and that's what I really liked about this movie. So, yeah, I'm gonna say no on Back to the Future 3. Let's go to I see Caleb making faces, so I'm gonna go to him next. Caleb,
this nomination is absurd. This is an absurd pick because comparing any Back to the Future sequel to the original is a futile gesture. Back to the Future is one of the best movies of all time. It's just okay. Back to the Future 2 is worse than Back to the Future 3. Back to the Future
2 is not worse than Back to the Future.
Oh, absolutely worse than Back to the Future 3.
Ridiculous.
Back to the Future 2 gets so off track. No, it goes so off the rails, kind of jump. It's just no. Back to the Future 2. Don't get me started on Back to the Future 2. Don't get me started on Back to the Future 2. Back to the Future 3. Back to the Future 3 is fun. It is ridiculously fun. It goes back to the idea, tying back into ideas that were planted that Marty died and we don't know why. And we had to figure it out. And we actually see Marty get saved because he finds out he's dying in the future. And that this whole run of playing with the idea of time. Back to the Future 3 has fun with the concept of time travel. I love the Old West settings. I love what's your name? Clint Eastwood.
The Clint thing is so dumb.
I love Back to the Future 3.
Outfits with the pink.
Back to the Future 3.
Stupid. Clara's literally the worst character in the whole franchise. Back to the Future 3 created Clara, and she's awful.
All right, hold on. We gotta get you on the rails.
Clara is not a great character.
She's awful.
But Doc is good in this movie. Like, actually really solidly good. It's Doc's movie. Marty is okay. Like, Marty's pretty good. And the setting, everything about the setting and the story is really fun, really solid. It's better than Back to the Future 2, which was just off the walls. It was off the walls ridiculous.
Doesn't make the list.
It doesn't. Are you kidding with how it's saying? Just doesn't make the list.
There you go.
Okay, move on.
God.
RJ. RJ.
As annoying that was, I agree with Caleb. I'm sorry. I think 3 is better than 2, so no, it doesn't make the list.
Thank you.
All right, well, that settles it. Malcolm, what would you have said about Back to the Future 3?
Yeah, as strange as it would have been, I would have agreed with the king as well. So
I'm very surprised there is a widespread opinion that 2 is worse than 3. That's surprising. I've never heard that before.
It's the worst of the 3.
It's so not.
It so is.
Oh my God!
Okay, Nicholas. We are never having these two on a show again.
God.
All right, RJ, your next nomination.
All right. So I got another one I kind of want to nominate, but sticking to my theme of like movies I think ruined a franchise, I'm going Karate Kid Part 3.
What the heck?
Yeah, I don't like it at all. It's lazy. It feels really lazy after the second one. Like, just bringing back the old character, like from 1, trying to like this whole thing of like he's gone psycho and his psycho ex-friend is now helping him get psycho back at Danny and the psycho kid he has to fight, and in the end he just ends up winning anyways, and everyone's like, boo, Cobra. Like, it makes no sense. It really doesn't. Like, I can't make sense of that movie. They try to make it about the bonsai tree, and that doesn't make sense. And it just felt really, really lazy, kind of forced out there, like, kind of like to end the franchise, to end it with a 3, and it just doesn't hold up to me. It really doesn't. So, yeah, y'all can say all you want, but I'm gonna recommend Caleb go last because I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Malcolm first because I didn't count last time. Malcolm.
I haven't seen Part 3, so I don't know. I have not seen it. So.
All right, well, I'm going next, and you know what? It took me. Like, I watched the first Karate Kid all the time when I was a kid. I watched Karate Kid 2. I thought it was all right. It took me 3 different tries to finish Karate Kid 3. I was so bored and so uninvested in what was going on. Yeah, Karate Kid 3. No, yeah. It granted, not like definitely the worst of the Ralph Macchio Karate Kids. I don't want to talk about Jaden Smith or fucking Hilary Swank. But yeah, I'm giving it a yes. It makes the list for me. Let's go to Caleb. I know he wants to open his mouth.
This didn't even end the franchise. This isn't the worst of the Karate Kids. There's a 4th film that is 1,000,000 times worse than the Karate Kid Part 3. It's called The Next Karate Kid. It is trash. That one is worse. But it is
Ralph Macchio Karate Kids.
No. This is in continuity. This is in continuity as the 4th one because it is still with.
Was Ralph Macchio in it?
Yeah. Or not Ralph Macchio's not in it, but who's the guy who plays the guy?
Pat Morita.
Yes, he's in it. He's in it. So it's in continuity. It's the 4th film. It's credited on IMDb as the 4th film. It is that's way worse than Karate Kid 3. Karate Kid 3 is it's bad. It's a bad movie. It's cheesy, kind of fun, but it doesn't reach the heights of 1 or 2. So no, this does not go on the list purely because it's not the worst of the franchise.
All right, and Luca, you are the deciding vote. Does Karate Kid 3 make the list?
I just cannot accept a movie that has John Kreese and Thomas Ian Griffith playing those wonderful, fun bad guys. I just love watching them. I'm sorry, it doesn't make the list.
Thank you.
All right, wow, okay.
Wait. No. In our rules, if someone hasn't seen a movie, that vote counts that it makes the list. So that's 2 and 2.
One? I'm sorry?
because Malcolm hasn't seen it, so Malcolm didn't have a vote. So right now it's 2-2.
Yeah, so it doesn't make the list anyways. It's a split.
Usually when someone hasn't seen a movie, it does make the list when it comes to worst.
No. I don't know what you're thinking about. That's not this show. Sorry, RJ. Karate Kid 3 does not make the list.
I'm going to have to go to past movies because I've seen that to where if someone says they haven't seen a movie when we're doing a worst, that usually counts for a vote that it does make the list.
It didn't.
Hey.
It didn't count with the Hunger Games.
You want to make?
Or there was,
you want to try to make that point? You go ahead. But as of right now,
no, that's fine. I'm just saying. Like I said, I'm just saying.
You're super passionate about how the Karate Kid 3 is really bad. And
No,
Yeah,
I know.
I
understand how you can be
He
so
doesn't
annoyed
match-
at John and Terry.
No,
He
I
doesn't
actually
match
don't.
Luca's passion.
No,
for
I really
Cloverfield
don't
does.
care if it doesn't make the list. I honestly don't. I'm confused with how I thought we
Consistency.
did things.
Fair enough. I wouldn't know.
That's all I'm saying.
no, we don't do it like that. Caleb, back to you.
How many films are on the
Okay.
list at the moment, by the way?
Still only 3.
Okay, so
3.
I'm going to nominate. I don't know how we're counting for like cinematic universes franchise wise, but I am going to nominate a film that was the third release in a cinematic universe.
Okay, I see
And
where you're going.
it was completely. The first time I saw it, I wanted to like it so much because I enjoyed the last 2 installments. I'm nominating Suicide Squad because
Okay, I'll allow it.
Okay, so Suicide Squad is terribly edited, lazy performances. I remember this is my case for the movie. Is I walked in, I watched the trailers, and it cuts right to them in prison, and there's no good. It's like a cold open, but it leaves you super confused. And I thought that was just my screening. And then I got the DVD later because my dad liked it. We watched it, and it was the same opening. And I'm like, this is terrible. This movie is just unbelievably done. It's just, no, it's screw this movie. It wastes so many good characters. It's just worst of the
That's a fair
franchise.
pick. I'll allow it. I'm gonna go to Luca first. Luca, Suicide Squad. Does it make top 7?
Suicide Squad is the second worst film of the decade so far, and it makes the list.
Wow, worst of the. What's the worst film of the
Okay.
decade? I'm curious.
It's also the worst film of 2017. It's called The Last Wave. It's horrendous. It's got Javier Bardem and Charlize Theron in it, and they're aid workers, and they fall in love. It's horrifically exploitative.
All right, well, whatever. I'm going to me next, and funny enough, right after I watched Cloverfield Paradox right after I watched Suicide Squad, and it was at Super Bowl. I was partying. I was a little drunk, and it's my friend and I got a laugh at how just awful this movie is. So I'm gonna give it a good yes. Suicide Squad makes top 7. RJ, what would you say?
I don't know. Like, I argue with, I'm thinking of the idea of, yes, it is the third in the DC cinematic universe or whatever they're deciding to call it now, but I don't know. I think it's still too young.
Isn't that what you have said?
It's still too young of a franchise to call it the worst. So, I don't know. I think I would have just decided not to vote.
Malcolm, what would you have said about Suicide Squad?
I actually would have said no because I actually kind of slightly enjoyed it, and I don't think it's the worst of the franchise. Justice League was much worse.
Really? Justice League?
No. Justice League is bad, but it's not worse than Suicide Squad.
It's not.
All right, well, Malcolm, we are to you next. Your nomination.
Right. Yeah, I can throw this one out there. I mean, this one is the third installment in there, but it's also kind of a reboot, so I don't know whether it count, but I'm going to throw it out there. Fantastic, the 2015 Fantastic Four. It's one of those awkward ones. I don't think I can count that.
Yeah, I can't count that.
I wouldn't count it, but if it was a third installment, dude, I'd vote for it.
Yeah.
I can't count that, even though it was bad and it would make a list, but I can't count that. So pick another one.
Fair enough. Okay, I'm going to throw out Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Oh,
Ooh.
the Narnia movie?
Yep, the Narnia one.
Okay.
I enjoyed the first two. This one completely derailed the books, and like it just wasn't that great. I mean, a lot of the acting performances were subpar as well. So yeah, that's my nomination.
All right, Voyage of the Dawn Treader is on the table. I'm gonna go to RJ first. RJ, does Voyage of the Dawn Treader make top 7?
Yeah, man, that's another tough one. It's kind of because it's not a good movie. It's not. It killed the franchise. I was really hoping they were going to go for all the bucks, and they were going to go for it. And Dawn Treader, I mean, yeah, I was kind of bored with it. I don't really remember anything fun about that movie. I mean, maybe when Will Poulter gets turned into a dragon, that's about it. But other than that, it just kind of like, yeah, I'm going to have to put it on there. It was relying too much on the success of the other two. I'm going to have to say it probably should at least be in the top 7.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to go to Luca next. Luca, does Voyage of the Dawn Treader make top 7?
I'm actually gonna say yes, because it is
Really?
like the only film that I really remember in that franchise, and I remember it because of how bad it is. Like, Ben Barnes is really bad in that movie. I just remember him being really awkward and not like having any character. They have like the 2 worst of the Pevensey kids are the ones left. And yeah, it's just kind of stupid and inconsequential and bad. And yeah, it makes the list, I think.
Wow, I'm surprised, honestly. I didn't think this one was going to make it, but nevertheless, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, the 3rd Narnia movie, makes top 7. I think I would give it a no, even though it's really funny because Prince Caspian, in the second one, Ben Barnes, he has a very distinct Greek accent. And then in Voyage of the Dawn Treader, he's British for some reason. It doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of things in this movie that just don't add up. But I think there were enough enjoyable moments that I do remember. It did give us Eyebrows Kid from Maze Runner, Captain Eyebrows.
Yeah.
So I think I would have given it a yes. Not a yes. I would have given it a no to stay off. Ken, what would you say?
I think part of the reason why I give that. Go ahead.
Oh no, you can finish. I'm about to explode.
I think part of the reason that I gave that film a yes is because like I love the book series so much, and I wish they'd done like The Horse and His Boy and The Silver Chair and all of those other like non-Pevensey related stories. But that film basically made it so that wouldn't happen. So
Okay. I am probably the biggest Chronicles of Narnia fan you will ever find on the internet. I adore the books. I adore these movies. Voyage of the Dawn Treader is the worst of the movies, but it is pretty faithful to the book. The spirit, the Voyage of the Dawn Treader is not the best book of the series at all. It's actually pretty boring. However, they capture the kind of fun-loving kind of we're going on the voyage to find the Aslan's country, and I was like, that's kind of cool. And Reaper Sheep was great, and there is some really cool parts in it. I didn't really appreciate the shoehorning in of like. You know what? I can't figure out how to put it into words, so I'm not going to put it into words. But yeah, I'm glad they skipped Horse and His Boy because that's an atrocious side story.
I like that book a lot.
I hate The Horse and His Boy. It's the worst of the series in my opinion. But this didn't kill the franchise. They're making Silver Chair still. They're just recasting. It's still in continuity. I think Edward and Lucy are a lot more bearable in this movie. Than they were in the past, and Will Poulter goes through a really cool character arc, and I wish I could have seen him do Silver Chair. But yeah, I would have voted no.
All right. Well, we'll come back to me. We're full circle now. Passion, I know, right? All right. There are a few I could throw up. Okay.
It's 2 left, right?
Yeah, we got 2 spots left. Okay. Here's what I'm going to throw up next. One of my favorite directors of all time is David Fincher.
Oh.
Now,
is it?
If I said that and someone's only frame of reference was Alien Cube, people would think I was mental. Because Alien Cube is fucking terrible. It symbolizes the downfall of the Alien franchise, and it just never recovered. Like, I'll give it credit for one thing. You get shaved head Ripley. Okay, a few things. Shaved headed Ripley. You get Lance Henriksen back as Bishop, and you have that cool shot with Ripley against the wall. That is it. Everything in that movie is just a slog. And granted, I had the same problem with Spider-Man 3, where like it's just studio interference and it just ruined the movie, and it made for a very just awful product. You kill Newt and Hicks. You kill Newt and Hicks off screen with like so unceremoniously. They were such big parts of the last movie, to the point where they're considering rewriting that movie so that they live. It's just Alien 3 just absolutely just destroys the Alien franchise beyond repair. So Alien Cubed is my next pick. I'm going to RJ first. RJ, does Alien Cubed make top 7?
Never seen any of the aliens.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Aliens, and then you can just stop. I'm going to Luca next. Luca.
1 second.
Luca.
Yep. It's my drawing of Alien Cube, which makes the list.
Okay, that was worth it.
It's atrocious.
Okay. Oh, God. All right, and let's go to Malcolm next. Malcolm.
Just like RJ, I've never seen one of the aliens.
Well, I guess it comes down to Caleb.
Okay.
Caleb, Alien Cube, does it make the list?
I'm gonna vote yes because it is really bad, but I'm also gonna say it's not the worst of the franchise.
It's definitely not. That's true.
No, that's true.
But yeah, but there's still room for one more of my nominations, so I'll say yes for that sake.
All right, so Alien Cube gets the 6th spot on the list. Now we go to Luca. Luca, keep in mind we have 1 spot left on the list. What do you want to throw in?
It's me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is on this list that I really want to talk about?
See, I kind of a cheatsy doodle.
I do not want Spider-Man 3 to be the only superhero comic book movie on this list.
Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, Suicide Squad is also on there. Let's go with Red Sonja then. A film that I think a lot of people have just like either forgotten about or like haven't seen, but it is the 3rd film in the Conan trilogy, and wow, it is super incredibly bad. The first Conan movie is really good and has some like really kind of fun, cheesy adventure stuff. It's young Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's Mako. It's a really fun ride. And the second one is pretty bad, but that at least has Mayday in it. What's her name? What's Mayday's? Grace Jones. Red Sonja is really terrible. It's Brigitte Nielsen's first movie, and she's a really horrendous actress and an even worse action star. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Red Sonja because it fucking sucks.
All right, Red Sonja. I'm gonna go first this time because Red Sonja is a movie like I love the first Conan the Barbarian. I think that's a great like period style action movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger is awesome in it. You got James Earl Jones doing stuff. It's a great like sword and sandals type movie from the 80s. And yeah, Conan the Destroyer's not
Bad.
It's not as good. I find it okay. Red Sonja, I keep forgetting that's Conan movies because it's so bad. And, like you can't even get Conan back in it, but because it's so disjointed from the first 2 Conan movies, I'm actually gonna give it a no. Let's go to Malcolm next. Malcolm, does Red Sonja make the list?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, figures. Now, if you have, just me, Luca, and maybe Brigitte Nielsen. Let's go to Caleb next. Caleb.
I don't think Brigitte Nielsen watches that movie regularly.
I don't even think Brigitte Nielsen saw that movie.
I was raised on Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I will take what I can get from Arnold. I'm gonna vote no on Red Sonja because yeah, it's bad, but there's just movies that I think are worse. Personally, I just think it's just a dumb B movie.
All right, well that's it. RJ, have you seen Red Sonja? What would you have said about it?
Yeah.
Didn't think so. Like I said, it's probably you, B, maybe Caleb, and Possibly Bridget Nielsen.
Arnold
I don't think
Schwarzenegger
I've
probably
seen Red Sonja.
to watch that movie.
Yeah. Ugh, God, it's atrocious. But RJ, we're back to you. We are back to you, buddy. What do you want to nominate next? Remember, one spot left.
You know what? We've been talking a lot about like how sometimes the third movie isn't the worst one and why it shouldn't be on the list. But this one, I think it does, regardless of it not being the worst. And that is Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
Okay, there we go.
Transformers 1 came out and it was all right. Transformers 2 came out and it was not as good. Transformers 3 was their chance to try to revitalize the franchise. Though the franchise has kept going, it just keeps progressively getting worse and worse, and Dark of the Moon was the start of that. It wasn't the end of a franchise, it was the start of a bad franchise. And honestly, out of all the ones I have left, I just think it at least deserves consideration just for being a really bad third movie. I mean, it was just bad. I don't like it.
All right. I'm going to go to Caleb first. Caleb, Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Does it make the list?
No, because here's the thing. Dark of the Moon is the second best Transformers movie. Revenge of the Fallen was the first time we saw how terrible a Transformers movie could be. Revenge of the Fallen is absolute garbage. And then the first one was actually pretty cool and good. This one kind of made me feel that way again about the franchise with the third one. Just because of the action's actually really good in Dark of the Moon. I think there's some really cool character designs. I don't know. I thought the story was minus a couple subplots was actually pretty serviceable. I think this is the second best. I think Age of Extinction and Last Night are a trillion times worse. Revenge of the Fallen's a trillion times worse. So no, thank you. I'm not voting for this one. This one's not on.
All right. And let's go to – I'm going to go to Luca next. Luca, the Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Make top 7.
I like how you tried to pass off Revenge of the Fallen as just not as good as Transformers 1. Because,
right?
Wow. That's an understatement. No, there are 2 films on my list which I think are worse. So I know we're really trying to fill this spot, but I don't think this is the movie to fill it with. It's, again, worst movies on both sides. It's just not that offensive.
All right. And I'm going to go to me next. And, yeah, I'm going to agree with both the two previous sentiments. And here's the weird thing. I actually can watch Transformers 3 and get some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah.
Like it's a fine, okay, like Tuesday afternoon action movie. Like granted, there's probably like the most. It's really I would say probably the most emotion out of it. What's her face? The Megan Fox placement, Mrs. Jason Statham. I can't remember her name, but she's not bad in it. Leonard Nimoy's in it. Patrick Dempsey's in it. I'm gonna say no. All right, so that seals it. Malcolm, what would you say?
It's Rosie Huntington-Whiteley.
That's right.
Yeah, I would have said no as well, using the Twilight argument for Transformers as well, but I've never liked them. So.
That's fair. That's fair.
Actually,
all right, well, we are back to Caleb. Your nomination next.
I don't know if this will work. This will be a bit. I have a backup in case this one doesn't work. I don't know if it's gonna work. I'll just say it and see if X-Men Apocalypse. Does that count? Are we gonna count that one? Because it's technically the third of the rebooted trilogy.
The third of the reboot franchise.
You're not saying Last Stand?
Hold on. Are we gonna accept Apocalypse or no?
Okay, I'll open up to you guys. I'd say I'd take it. I would take Apocalypse.
I would describe that as the 6th movie in a franchise.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would say it's the 6th movie of the franchise.
I'm okay with throwing that piece of garbage out if we're not going to nominate it. So that brings me to X-Men: The Last Stand.
Yeah, okay.
Okay then.
X-Men: The Last Stand.
Which makes the list.
X-Men: The Last Stand. Okay, see, personally, I think Apocalypse is worse just because it actually left the franchise. It leaves me in a bad place where I don't know if I'm excited for Dark Phoenix or not because of it. However, I'm excited for Dark Phoenix on the prospect of them redoing and maybe getting the story that they botched so bad in The Last Stand right. There's too much in this movie. There's just this dumb subplot about curing mutants, which feels really, really strange. and Rogue and everything. I don't know. The only good part of this movie to me is maybe Kelsey Grammer's Beast. The fact that they kill Cyclops so early in the movie and then get rid of Professor X and just kill a bunch of them. And then they have the audacity to include that trash post-credit scene of Professor X coming back to life in a different body. Like, screw this movie. This is on here. No.
All right. Malcolm, your vote did not, I don't believe your vote counted last time, so I'll go to you first. X-Men Last Stand, does it make the list?
You see, I actually enjoyed Last Stand, and I'm going to say no, it doesn't, on the basis that there are a few other movies on my list that should be there, and I don't think we need three part threes in the list. So.
Okay, I'm going to go to Luca next. Luca, does X-Men Last Stand make top 7?
That film is terrible. It shits on the thematic ideas of the X-Men series. The ending, in which they forcibly cure Magneto, is the worst thing to have been committed to celluloid in the X-Men series, by far. It is a complete betrayal of the characters. It is a complete betrayal of the themes. And yet... So far, it's just been Malcolm, and Malcolm said no, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I cannot in good conscience leave it off the list. It is really destructive to my favorite superhero franchise of all time. The comics and everything included. So I will give it my vote to go on the list.
All right. I'm going to go to RJ next. RJ.
Yeah, it's a no for me. Sorry, I'm kind of with Malcolm. If I actually enjoy it, I'm sorry. I don't know what people's problem is with it. Really, maybe I didn't read enough comic books growing up. Actually, I know I didn't, but I don't think it's as bad as everyone says it is. I enjoy the hell out of it. Like, yeah, there's some mistakes with it. Don't get me wrong. They shouldn't have killed Professor X. They shouldn't have killed Cyclops right at the beginning. They probably should have let Colossus speak a little bit more because he was kind of just standing there like, so we're gonna do this. Like, I'm part of the team, but I don't get to talk. Cool, let's do this. But I don't hate it. So, no.
All right, so brings it to me. Oh, God. First of all, I would disagree with Caleb on one front. I do think this is worse than Apocalypse, because Apocalypse at least had some understanding of the actual X-Men lore, whereas this movie didn't have it. Like, there's zero understanding of what made these characters cool, what made these characters compelling. And Brett Ratner just threw all that shit out the window and put whatever he wanted on screen. I will give it credit on one front. I'll give it credit for one thing. This is the only X-Men movie I can think of where we have like a bunch of X-Men all thrown down together. I mean, you have like Wolverine stabbing people, you have Beast doing Beast stuff. It's a cool action sequence at the end, but it's not enough. It's not enough to save this movie. And yeah, it muddles the X-Men franchise beyond repair. So, well, not beyond repair, because they do eventually recover from it, but it's still
briefly
crippling blow. They briefly recover, but it's still a really crippling blow. And yeah, I'm saying it makes top 7, which rounds out our list.
I don't think I've ever agreed with Luca.
You're a disgusting person.
I don't think I've ever agreed with Luca so strongly about a movie than how Last Stand betrays everything about the X-Men. So, yes.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so now before we move on, I'm gonna say I'm gonna give us some time to go honorable mentions. Honorable mentions I have on my list: Jurassic Park 3, okay. Terminator: Rise of the Machines, Shrek 3.
I would have voted no. I would have voted no to both those.
Shrek the Third and Jaws 3D.
I would have voted no to Shrek the Third and Terminator
so
3.
Bad.
I'd have voted no to both because Terminator 3 is at least serviceable because we got Salvation and Genesis afterwards.
But that was the first time we saw Terminator be crap,
it wasn't truly crap though. It just wasn't as good. And Shrek the Third is not a bad movie. That's a fun movie. I like Shrek the Third.
No, the fuck it's not. All right, Caleb. Caleb, since we're on you right now, any honorable mentions you want to throw out before we move on?
You know, I'm going to throw out the honorable mention of Iron Man 2 because it's the third installment of the MCU, but I knew that wasn't going to get accepted if I threw it out there because Iron Man 2 is the worst movie in the MCU. However, it's not the worst movie of all time. So that's an honorable mention for me. Yeah, a lot of the ones that were mentioned were my honorable mentions, like Red Sonja and stuff like that. So yeah.
All right, Luca. Any other honorable mentions you want to throw out first?
Yeah, okay, so like Blade Trinity was really terrible.
Yeah.
Resident Evil Extinction is awful. The third Underworld movie, I can't even remember the name of.
Rise of the
Batman Forever
Lycans.
is really bad, thank you.
Robin's
RoboCop 3 is atrocious. Predators was really bad.
I like Predators.
Superman 3 with Richard Pryor is...
I forgot to bring that one up.
That film is garbage, but it's not as bad as Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
Yeah.
Besides that, I think you could definitely throw Iron Man 3 in there. Revenge of the Sith is a really bad movie, but it's like, again, it's a like decent conclusion to a terrible franchise. I might also put I think The Dark Knight Rises deserves a mention because it is such a drop off, but it's not like a terrible movie. And Pirates of the Caribbean 3 at World's End.
Absolutely not. At World's End's good.
Which I would have said had it come around to make it, because it's truly horrific.
It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I know it's not very good, but I like it.
I like At World's End.
That film is 12 hours long.
At World's End is like an hour and 45 minutes. Okay, anyway.
At World's End? No, it's not. At World's End is nearly 3 hours.
I don't. If it is, it goes by really fast because I really enjoy it.
Oh, and we also mentioned Battle of the Five Armies. That's one I would want to bring up.
Okay, RJ, any mentions you want to throw out there?
First thing I'm going to do is agree with Luca over there. Yeah, Iron Man 3, that movie's terrible. I'm sorry. That just ruins the continuity of the MCU. It makes no sense. They just completely throw it out the window. Like, at least Iron Man 2 gave us War Machine. Okay?
Yeah,
at least we could say that.
Iron Man 3 gave us something different that was actually really cool to see.
It gave us crap.
You have to do. Hold on. Real quick.
Let's talk about Iron Man 3. Real quick. RJ, anything else you want to throw out there?
Mentions, honestly, I doubt anyone saw this movie, but it is the third one in a franchise, Dumb and Dumber 2.
Oh, yeah.
That movie was terrible. The second one wasn't any good either, but Dumb and Dumber 2 is the third one, and it was horrendous. It actually made me want to kill myself. No, I didn't, but I really regretted putting it on. And one that probably would have made the list, but I just didn't like it, and that was Spy Kids 3D.
I like it more than Spy Kids 2.
It's not saying a whole lot.
Spy Kids 3 is kind of fun.
I'll give Spy Kids 3D a little credit. It brought back the whole trend of 3D.
It did. And it was
Can I also
Malcolm. Sorry. Luca?
Yeah, a lot of the ones I had on have already been seen, but like the ones that haven't been seen, like I got Cars 3, Rush Hour 3, Ice Age: Dawn of the Dinosaurs. I mean, I had Scary Movie 3 there as well, but yeah. So.
Y'all keep naming animated movies that I really like.
Jeez. You're such a millennial.
Dawn of the Dinosaurs is my favorite Ice Age movie.
Really? Okay, whatever. Luca, you had another one you want to throw out there before we move on?
Yeah, so I just kind of want to throw a special mention to just the number 3 in horror movies in general. You've got Insidious 3, you've got Saw 3, you've got Hostel 3, you've got The Howling 3 with I think that's the one with the marsupials. Hellraiser 3 is really bad. Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3 is pretty rough, but it's better than 2. Did I say Insidious?
Yeah.
Is Annabelle the third movie in the Conjuring franchise? Like, there's just...
yes, it
second.
is. No, it's
the
not.
second.
It's the second. It's the second.
Because then it's Conjuring 2, Annabelle 2. Yeah.
Okay, so Halloween 3 is also pretty rough. Just horror movie third films. They're really bad. Scream 3 is terrible. Leprechaun 3 is really awful. Paranormal Activity 3 was really bad. Yeah. Horror movies don't do thirds very well. They do seconds worse, though.
All right. Well, that's it. So let me just remind you guys of our top 7 as it stands. We have Matrix Revolutions, The Cloverfield Paradox, Spider-Man 3, Suicide Squad, Chronicles of Narnia, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, Alien Cubed, and X-Men: The Last Stand. Man, this list is bad. All right, now
I've only got 3 you cut out.
Sorry.
Cloverfield Paradox.
I'll repeat it one more time.
Okay, sure.
Cloverfield Paradox, Spider-Man 3, Suicide Squad, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, Alien Cubed, and X-Men: The Last Stand.
I
Got that?
I've still only got Cloverfield, Spider-Man, Suicide
I'll
Squad.
do it, Chance, because you keep cutting out. It's Matrix
Yeah.
Revolution,
Sorry.
Cloverfield Paradox, Spider-Man 3, Suicide Squad, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, Alien Cubed, X-Men: The Last Stand.
Okay, cool.
All right. So here comes the next part of the list. We have to kick 2 of these films off the top 7. So this will work in. It's going to be the reverse of round 1. What we're going to do is someone's going to nominate a film to get kicked off the list, and then it has to get 3/5 vote to be knocked off top 7. So I'm going to let RJ go first. RJ, what film do you think should get kicked off top 7?
Surprisingly, I'm going to nominate Suicide Squad just because all the other ones have more direct connections with their previous films.
All right, Suicide Squad is up on the chopping block. I'm going to go next. I agree, just because, it is awful, and it is the worst of the DCEU movies, and it is the worst, and it is one of the worst movies of, I don't know about the decade. It was one of the movies I saw that year. But yeah, as far as if the franchise goes, it's not as connected to the franchise as these other movies are. So I'm gonna say Suicide Squad goes. Caleb, you put it on. I'm gonna see if do you want to knock it off? Does Suicide Squad stay on the list?
I want it to stay on the list because, yes, it is directly affected. They directly mention Superman. They mention Batman. Batman appears in the movie. It is directly connected to the events of Batman versus Superman. They're lifting up banners of, hey, Superman's dead. What are we going to do now that Superman's dead? It directly relates to the last movie in the franchise that was released later that year. So I would shoot that point down. And I think it is, I agree with Luca, is one of the worst movies of the decade. It is absolutely terrible, and it definitely deserves to be on this list. More than some of the other ones that are nominated, like Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Okay. I know what Luca's going to say, but Luca, does Suicide Squad stay on the list or does it go?
I've got a chest infection right now, and it's Suicide Squad's fault. Suicide Squad stays on the list.
All right, now we're going to go to Malcolm. You're deciding vote. Does Suicide Squad stay on the list or does it go?
Well, I agree with RJ.
Dang it.
I don't think it belongs in the top 7 because, yes, it's got the movies that came first, but the plot is entirely its own, and the plot does not carry on from Batman vs Superman. Yes, Superman is
It's the inciting incident,
dead, but it doesn't. It's not a directly connected plot. The last moment of Batman vs Superman does not start off Suicide Squad, so Suicide Squad comes off.
Neither does Voyage of the Dawn Treader or a lot of the other movies.
Hold on. All right, so Suicide Squad is off the top 7. Caleb, I will let you go next. What do you want to nominate get knocked off the list?
What could it be?
I've said it twice. I'm knocking off Voyage of the Dawn Treader because Voyage of the Dawn Treader is not a terrible movie. Like all the other movies that were on here, Suicide Squad belonged on here more than Voyage of the Dawn Treader. And Voyage of the Dawn Treader is actually pretty fun. It has some really cool character moments. I agree. It's the worst of the trilogy, but it's not the worst movie of. And it's actually the best movie out of the ones that are still on this list. And I would kick it off because honestly, the characters are pretty fun to be with, and it's a familiar world that's really enchanting. So.
All right, let's go to Malcolm. This was yours. I'll let you see if you want to knock it off. Also, does Voyage of the Dawn Treader stay or does it go?
Looking at what's there, and I'm actually going to take it off because I think the other 5 that are there deserve to be there more. Out of the, I've got Voyage at 6 on my list anyway, so yeah, I'm good with it coming off.
Yeah, and go to Luca next. Luca, does Voyage of the Dawn Treader stay or does it go?
By the logic of, is every other movie on the list worse than it? The answer is yes. So the Voyage of the Dawn Treader is out, and we have our top 5.
That settles it. So, Voyage of the Dawn Treader is off the list. RJ, what would you have said?
Yeah, I probably would have said yes, just because the only one I kind of would have tried to get off the list was X-Men: The Last Stand, just because I enjoy it more than John Treader, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. So.
All right, and I also would have said yes to knocking Don Treader off. So, in any case, we are now at the final process.
Can't believe we took off Suicide Squad.
Hey, it happens. All right, so look up Jingle All the Way.
I like Jingle All the Way.
Just a reminder. Shut up, Caleb. All right, our top 5 are RJ. You want to run through our top 5? RJ.
Oh, sorry, yes.
Hello.
So what we have left, we have Matrix Revolutions, we have X-Men: The Last Stand, we have Alien Cubed, we have, why did I do that? I erased everything else. My bad. I was in the middle of erasing before you asked me to do it.
Sorry.
Cloverfield Paradox and
Spider-Man 3.
Spider-Man 3.
And Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is this is the rankings period. What we're gonna do is a spot is gonna be up for voting, and we are going to write down on our whiteboards or paper, whatever, what movie we believe deserves to go in that spot. So, gentlemen, if you will all write down what you believe deserves to go in the number 5 spot.
There's one right here.
I can see through the light on what you wrote.
I will keep it down for the suspense.
All right. I'm gonna go to RJ first. RJ.
Just because I haven't seen it and it's still too new, Cloverfield Paradox.
All right. Caleb.
I wrote The Matrix Revolutions because it's just, yeah.
All right. Luca.
Spider-Man 3.
Oh God. Please don't say this is going where I think it's going. Malcolm.
Because I kind of enjoyed it, X-Men: The Last Stand.
What have you got?
Wow.
X-Men: The
Yeah,
Last
we're kind of in danger of having everybody put the same thing. Until we're not. X-Men: The Last Stand.
Oh my gosh.
X-Men: The Last Stand is number 5.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Gross. That's number 1 in my opinion, but okay.
I would put it.
All right. So now, gentlemen, you write down what you believe goes in the number 4 spot.
Oh wait, it's just the same time.
All right. I'm gonna go first. I say the Cloverfield Paradox. Let's go to Malcolm.
Just because I've never seen it, Alien 3.
All right. Luca.
I still have Spider-Man 3.
Yep, you didn't change your answer, is what I thought. Caleb.
I didn't change mine either. I said Matrix Revolutions.
And RJ, I think I know what you said.
Yeah, I didn't change my answer.
All right, so Cloverfield Paradox is number 4.
I'm so proud of it.
All right. So if you will now write down where you believe it goes in the number 3 spot. All right. RJ.
Also because I haven't seen it, so Alien Cubed.
Caleb.
I said Alien Cube because I wanted to be funny. And I wanted it in the 3rd spot.
Luca.
El Hombre Araña 3.
Okay, we got Mexican Spider-Man 3.
Spanish,
Malcolm.
please.
me and Caleb switched votes because I put Matrix Revolutions.
Oh shit. Well, Malcolm, you are the decider because I also have Spider-Man 3. So, Malcolm, you have to change your vote. Is it going to be Spider-Man 3 or Alien Cubed?
Alien Cube because I've never seen it.
All right.
Yeah.
Alien Cube is the number 3. So now, gentlemen, if you will now vote for the number 1 movie on the list.
Oh, for number 1. Okay.
Yeah, number 1. We're not voting number 2.
Right.
For the record, Alien 3 is the true number 1.
All right.
The true number 1 is Suicide Squad, but that didn't make the list.
All right, let's go to RJ first. RJ.
I don't think you have to ask. Spider-Man 3.
That's right. Okay. Caleb.
I said Spider-Man 3.
Luca.
Matrix Revolutions, which is now taking the blame for my chest infection.
Malcolm.
Matrix Revolutions.
Ooh, so we're deadlocked. Comes down to me. And this movie offended me to my core, and I've never forgiven it since. Matrix Revolutions gets the number 1 spot on the list.
It is so horrendous.
So terrible. So for those keeping track, number 5 we have X-Men: The Last Stand. Number 4, The Cloverfield Paradox. Number 3, Alien Cubed. Number 2, Spider-Man 3, and the number 1 worst threequel of all time is Matrix Revolution.
It is X-Men: The Last Stand.
All right. So this is a fun show. Everybody watching at home, thank you. Those are my panelists: Malcolm, Luca, Caleb, and RJ. I'm your host, Chance Ellison, and we will see you later today for the second part of our doubleheader, which of course is the top 5 best threequels of movie history. It should be really interesting.
Son of Frankenstein.
Till then, Son of Frankenstein. You can hope all you want. But until then, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.